Hi, I'm Mike, and before we get started on today's video, which we're going to be showing you how we make our finishing mix, I really wanted to thank everybody for signing up for our newsletter. Now, you can do it on our website, right down at the bottom, click on newsletter, and this last couple weeks, we actually decided that we were going to give away a meat package to one newsletter subscriber. So thank you very much for all the new subscribers that are in there. Also, all of you guys who were subscribers before, you guys were entered into it as well for a chance to win. Carrie actually sent me the name of the winner, and the name is Doug Coulterman. You have won yourself a meat package, beef and pork, from the ranch directly to your door at no cost to you, just for signing up for our newsletter. So Carrie will actually be getting a hold of you, or I'll be getting a hold of you, or somebody will, and we're going to find out what exactly you want, and we'll get it shipped off to you. If you would like to win still, make sure that you sign up for our newsletter, and if you haven't done so yet, head on over to our website. Down at the bottom, click on newsletter, and get yourself signed up for your chance to win at the end of February. Thanks, guys. Hi, I'm Mike. Welcome back to Our Wyoming Life, where we just today ran out of feed here in our grain bin, which we moved just the other day into the sale barn. This grain bin actually holds what we call our finishing feed, and it's pretty much feed that we finish all of our animals on. Our steers, our pigs, not so much chickens, but steers and pigs will finish for the last 60 to 90 days that they're here on the ranch. They actually get this special feed that we make right here on the ranch, and that the purpose behind this feed is to produce that marbling and the fat content that we want in our meat, which makes our meat taste like no other. But today I am actually going to give away the secret, because I'm going to share with you the recipe for our feed. I figured since I had to make it anyway, I might as well let folks in on what exactly makes our feed so special. And I don't know if it really is anything, or if it's just our recipe that we came up with, but it wasn't only us. I guess I shouldn't say that. It was also vets that were included, nutritionists, all kinds of good folks that were able to give us a hand in formulating the feed that we feed to our cows. Everything in the finishing feed starts with this. This is a mixture. This is corn, oats, and barley mixed together with a little bit of molasses. And this is the base that we use for that. Ideally, I would have bins here on the ranch, with one with corn and one with oats and one with barley, and we'd be able to mix our own feed. Unfortunately, I don't have bins for that. So we actually get this mixed for us at Dakota Mills over in Belle Fourche, South Dakota. But it is the base, and it's what we start with. Then what we do is we add in, usually I would add in hay. That hay would raise the protein. Well, it wouldn't really raise the protein. It raises the fiber, but it actually gives those cows the fiber that they need. So, but problem is, and if you've been watching for a while, you know that I actually plugged up our feeder by grinding hay in it. So until I come up with a better way to do that, we're actually going to be adding that fiber in a different way, but kind of the same way. And we're going to be doing it over here where I've got some Timothy grass pellets. I've also got some alfalfa pellets and some beet shreds. So we're going to be able to figure out exactly what we want to add to our base mixture. The other thing that we add is our FBN Grow Mix, which was specially formulated for our ranch by FBN, Farmers Business Network, and their nutritionists, and that gives the cows all the vitamins, all the minerals that they need, since they are in more of a feedlot type program. We don't have them out on pasture where they're going to get some of that stuff from the grass. So that's where we start. Basically what we need to do to figure out and get this whole thing rolling, because there's going to be some math involved. We're going to have to figure out what we want our protein level to be at when we're done, how much of all this stuff to add. But first we have to know how much base we're starting with. So I don't know how much this tote weighs. That's the first thing we got to figure out. To get us started in this process, we've got to get this attached. Pretty simple. I'm just going to run a chain through all of our loops here. Something like that. And then we attach our scale, which is a hanging scale, and then we got to drive the skid steer in. This is a lot nicer to do when it's 85 and sunny. There you go. I don't know if you can read that at all. The sun is 1,707 pounds. We'll call it 1710 because now we actually have to head inside the shop here, do a little math, figure out where we want our proteins to be and how much of the additives we can put in to get us there. Actually, I was going to do this in the shop, but I want to be able to show you guys, which means that I have to go in the house to my computer where I can record my screen so I can show you exactly what we're doing. Whew. Besides, it's a whole lot warmer in here anyway. Okay, so I've got a spreadsheet that I'm going to pull up. And this is my feeding animals spreadsheet. So we know if we look over here, this is my feeding side. This is my COB, or my corn, oats, and barley, my finishing formula. So total weight right here, we put in 1710. And the way my formula works out, it's 50% corn, 30% oats, 20% barley. So there's the COB that we mixed in, also the 200 pounds of molasses that's in there. Normally, like I said, I would do dry hay and beet pulp. So I would need 513 pounds of dry hay and 171 pounds of beet pulp. But I don't have either one of those. So this is basically what I got to do. So I have to put in 171 pounds of beet pulp, and whatever that is, that's whatever percentage that is. I don't think there's much protein to it. But the dry hay, I want 513 pounds of dry hay along with my grow mix there. So dry hay wise, I don't think I have 513 pounds of that Timothy grass, those Timothy grass pellets that I have out there. I don't think I have that much of that. I think I only have a couple hundred pounds of that. So maybe I have 300 pounds of the Timothy, and we're going to do 171 pounds. So let's round that up to 200 pounds of the beet pulp. And then I also have some alfalfa cubes. I could throw that in there because what we're looking for is about 700 pounds of dry matter in this. So I'm up to 500. If I throw in my alfalfa pellets, I think that'll work. That'll get us pretty close to where we need to be. The other thing that we need to worry about is the protein level of this feed. So the beet pulps and the Timothy grass, the pellets, that will help control all that. what we're actually going to do is pull up a protein calculator here really quick. And I have one I like. I got to try to find it. Yeah, this one I like. Okay, so in here, I know that, well, really quickly, so we have the corn, oats, and barley, and that's our protein levels there. And you got to put in a cost, so it doesn't really matter. I just want to know what the final protein level is. And where's my oh, and I got to put in my percentage of the mix, which I know is what, 50, 30, and 20. 30, 20. Okay, so right here, there's my crude protein, 10.85%. So now we're going to actually clear these out. And I'm going to change this to other. And I know that this is 10.85. And there we go. And there we go. So that brings our crude protein up to 11% on that. So luckily I have everything we need, I think, down outside. So we're going to head back outside. We're going to start mixing and getting our grain fed, or our finishing grain mixed. If you would like the recipe for yourself, go ahead and take a look down in the description. I'll be putting it down in there, and also a link to that protein calculator so you can take a look at your own feed and figure out your own proteins once you start mixing stuff together, because it can get really confusing. So the big reason that we want to know what our protein level is because we don't want to burn these guys up. We don't want to give them too much protein as compared to the amount of fiber that we're giving them. If we get up around that 12, 13, 14% protein, we're just going to cause diarrhea, and they're not going to actually absorb as much of the energy that we want them to out of this feed, and they won't produce as much fat, as much marbling, and as good a meat as we would like. It's time to get mixing. This is our Arts Way 400 mixer. It holds about about 2 tons of feed, not 9 tons, 2 tons of feed. The other thing you're going to notice here is I made a modification to this side. There actually used to be another fold-out type of bin thing here. It constantly leaked and made all kinds of a mess. So actually I replaced it with a piece of a detour sign, which has the arrow because it shows which way the grain should go. That's just in case there's any confusion. All right, we're going to start out by grabbing some hearing protection, because this is going to get pretty dang loud. Plus it's nice and warm over my ears. Okay, the grain's going to go in. Intermittently we're going to stop. We're going to add in some of our beet shreds, or our Timothy hay, or even our alfalfa cubes. We're going to add those in intermittently as we go. The grinder is running, so it will kind of grind some of this up to make it easier to digest for the cows. Also on this side, I'm going to add in our protein mix, not our protein mix, our FBN mix, which is the minerals and that kind of stuff. We're going to add that in as well. Really loud, so just stick with me. We'll get her done in just a second.
Guitar in the back, I was gonna make it big.
You'll notice this bag has a bunch of holes in it. So I think I'm going to try to get this hole kind of over the spigot there, or over the auger, so that we can get this done.
I really think I should just get while the getting is good. This is now or never. It is understood. Let's get while the getting is good. Just get while the getting is good. Get while the getting is good.
All right, gang, I had to call a quick timeout here. We are in weird mode here because something bad is going to happen. I can feel it. That tote of COB is hard. I don't know if it's the weather. I don't know if it had too much molasses in it. I'm not exactly sure, but it is solid as a rock. And obviously I couldn't use the spout. I knew I wasn't going to be able to use the spout down on the bottom that I normally would use, but being able to cut this bag open, and I'm kind of just doing surgery here and trying to chip away at it as I can. Yeah, I really don't know how this is going to turn out. So if something bad happens, we spill a bunch of grain on the ground, I guess we grab shovels and we pick it up. Alrighty, we're gonna leave that to mix and duck into the shop here. Whew. So obviously that was a lot harder than it should have been. And normally I don't have that much trouble, really, trust me. The bag, obviously, too cold, too wet, something happened in there, which caused it to turn into one giant rock. But we did manage to get it all chiseled out of there without doing too much damage. We did lose a little bit of grain. I managed to shovel up most of it. The chickens will find it and they'll eat it all up. So we're gonna let that mix up for a little bit. After it's done, and it doesn't take very long, 5-10 minutes, we're gonna bring the tractor in and we're gonna dump it into our grain bin. Well, I'd call that full. And now you know our super secret recipe that goes into every single steer and every single pig that comes off the ranch. I am tired. This was a lot more work than I thought it was going to be. A lot of shoveling, a lot of banging, a lot of jumping around. But it is done. We've got feed made up for probably a couple more weeks, which is great. We'll be able to finish those steers. We'll be able to finish those pigs. And we'll have them in the farm store and online before you can say pork chop. Thanks guys for hanging out with me. Everything's down in the description. If you do finish your own beef, I would really suggest that you look into this type of feed. Talk to FBN, fbn.com. You can find out about our grow mix, and they'll actually test your feed and see what works really good for you based on where you're at and all kinds of different things that go into that. But our feed, the basic gist of it is corn, oats, barley, molasses, FBN grow mix. That is 60% of our finishing mix. The other 40%, roughage, hay, Timothy grass, whatever. You can mix it in and you can make it. Thanks for hanging out with me, guys. Really do appreciate it. I got to go clean up, put all this stuff away, and then it's, well, back to the ranch. We'll talk to you later. Thanks for hanging out right here on Our Wyoming Life.